Hello everybody, Skywarped33 here, and welcome to part 1 of possibly multiple parts of a behind the scenes of my biggest, most ambitious music video of all time up until right now. So, yeah. I haven't actually made the music video yet, but I wanted to sort of fill you guys in on a little bit of the behind the scenes that I've been working on, because I've been working on this for like almost 2 weeks now, and I haven't put out an actual video in a while, and I'm just like, I should give them an update. So this is technically a behind the scenes of a project that is not done when, or at least it's not finished as of me recording the behind the scenes, but kind of just like more of a sneak peek for the Darkest Desires music video that I'm going to be doing. So let's get into it. So this is going to be a little bit more of an informal video, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys majority of the things I've been working on. So in a lot of my Five Nights at Freddy's music videos, I use some custom backgrounds for like the inside of the pizzeria and stuff, and as of like recently, these are the backgrounds I've used for all my videos. So they're just some custom painted tile floors, which essentially just looks like a checkerboard. And then this one, which is the wall that a lot of people will probably recognize from the majority of my videos, as of at least right now. One thing I really don't care about is it's all hand painted, so the squares aren't perfect, which I was okay with for a while, but then as I was going on, I kind of was getting a little bit more frustrated with like the quality, because as you can see, obviously the squares are not the greatest, and I really wanted to like improve the backgrounds, especially with the checkerboard flooring. So as you can kind of see, it looks pretty good, but there's like pieces of black and white that kind of overlap and stuff like that, and in the long run it didn't end up being as like clean as I wanted. Like, it obviously still looked kind of fake and like hand painted, and I wanted something a little bit more like realistic, I guess. So I came up with this. Long story short, I bought 400 Lego tiles off of eBay, painted half of them black, and then glued them to a board. And that's just the start of it. Then I was like, okay, so I've made these different hallway shots before. Like, here's an example from some of my music videos, and I'm like, okay, looks okay, but also if you look closely, it looks a little janky. And I'm just like, I really want to do something a little bit better in the long run for these hallway shots that I keep doing. Just because the way I did it was I would take 2D images and kind of try to make them look like they're matching on the movement and stuff, and sometimes it's a little janky. So in combination with the new Lego tiles and everything else, I ended up making this. Fnaf tread, 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 Fnaf, Fnaf tread, Fnaf tread, Fnaf tread. So I got quite a few people commenting and asking what the heck I was doing that for. But essentially, I spent quite a long time making a little tread piece with these tiles here so that I could use it in my upcoming music video. So as you can see, it's essentially the same idea as that previous hallway shot, except instead of it being animated to look like it's moving, I can physically rotate it and make it look like the squares are moving a lot. Or at least I think it would look a lot more accurate. And then I painted the top section blue here so I can chroma key it out, and then end up using it for my videos. Now, the reason this took so long is because if you look, it's literally a tread. So there are these segments of the tread that are little sections, like so. And I had to literally cut them all out and glue them together and then attach them with straps. We'll see if you can see in there. I'll do a little zoom. And then I added this artificial cardboard gear system, I guess it would be kind of considered, to be able to make it so that the tread would catch on the little turn wheel and be able to move, like so, because it moves pretty well, I like to think. As you can see inside there, it's literally attached to a bottle, and then on the bottle, if we do another little auto zoom, might have to get some better lighting real quick. So inside the bottle there, it's really hard to see, but there is also a little gear system tread that I had to make on there, so that when I turn the bottles, it catches on the tread system and then turns the rest of it. So as you guys can kind of see, it's still a little janky. And then as of recording this video, it's just connected to this clip here, and I can rotate it, and it spins the tread automatically. And fun fact, I tried to make it so that it would have a system for fake walls to be physically next to it and rotate at the same time, but long story short, it ended up taking way too long to try to figure that out, and the closest I got on my attempt, the wall piece did not rotate at the same speed as the tiles, so then I abandoned that project and went with painting it solid blue on top instead. So then essentially I'll just add the walls in post, but then the squares moving on their own will make me feel a lot better with the animation quality, especially since, as you can see, they actually look like tiles rather than it being a hand-painted floor, if that makes any sense. Don't mind the fact that my desk is horribly covered in loads of things. I literally just finished building this and I really wanted to get a video out, so I'm recording without cleaning, so it is what it is. But yeah, so next up, I built a better wall. So as you guys can see, I personally think this looks a billion times better than the previous wall. As you kind of can see, the squares themselves are actually uniform and they're a little bit more accurate. I've got posters on the wall, some that I got off the internet and then some that I custom made. And then some of the missing kids' artwork or newspaper clippings and stuff show up on there. And then we've got like little Golden Freddy and all sorts of other posters that appear on this wall. And essentially I'll be able to use this as the background, and if I'm using it in the moving hallway, I can take photos of it either at an angle or at straight on and then turn it in post and make it kind of an infinite loop. And then if I do it vice versa, have it this side, then the sides won't be an exact mirror because there'll be posters on different segments on both sides at the same time, if that makes sense. Another thing I did, just to make it a little bit easier on myself in the long run, if I don't want a section with posters, I did the other side of it 100% blank, so I'll be able to use a little bit of a mixture of this blank wall and the poster-sided wall, and I might be able to take photos and cut out sections with posters and the sections with nothing, and then kind of make my own custom wall rather than just keeping it in this configuration, so that every time there's a background, it might not just be the exact same order of posters on there. I might be able to cut out this section, put it into a blank wall, and then make it so that there's different segments as we go. I'm pretty sure that made sense. I could be wrong though. One last little comparison is here is my old wall that I used, and here is the new wall. As you can see, I'll be scaling this up so it'll be roughly the same size as this one. So the reason this one's so big is just because I thought if I made it a big wall and I could take a photo of it, then I wouldn't have to worry about it. But essentially, I didn't have to do that. I could just make it a small wall, take a really high depth picture of it, and then zoom it in, and then that's still like a really good background on there. So I might just keep this for nostalgia's sake, because I've kind of got a little section of all my old backgrounds that I've used for videos, so I probably won't get rid of this, but this is definitely going to be its replacement from now on. And now, for the reason you all are here, the thing probably that I put in the thumbnail. I remade the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Fnaf office. Why did I say... Man, I Probably need to take a nap. I made the office from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So as you can see, it is a box. But if we look at it from multiple angles, it looks like the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 office. What? The thing I just said. That's crazy. So yeah, this is the outside of it. I've got both sides with doors included. And then, using magnets, it pops open. Now as you can see, it's pretty dark in there, but when I actually go to use it in the music video, I'll obviously put more lighting in there so that I'll be able to use it properly. And yeah, essentially, I really wanted to remake The Office, because I feel like this already looks 1,000 times better than like a still image of me trying to recreate The Office with a bunch of 2D assets, rather than me physically remaking a model of it and so on. So let's get a zoom on in there. So as you guys can see, we got loads of things in this office. I'm actually quite proud at all the detail work I did on this. So there is the custom poster of the animatronics that I made. I decided to remake the poster rather than printing off the old one so that I could use my original versions of the characters rather than the posters not matching the characters that'll show up in the video. And I think it looks really cool in small scale. As you guys can see, the TVs and fan on the table are from the Funko Lego set thing. I did not make those, but I did make the paper balls, the little paper cup, and the super tiny Carl the Cupcake right there in the corner. That dude, whoo, he is tiny. Now, I was originally planning on using the Funko Toy Chica action figure cupcake and just gluing it in there, but then I realized this sucker is way too big. Just look at that size difference. So I had to make myself a really tiny cupcake for it instead. And I'm quite happy with the detail work. Not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm very proud of this little microscopic office in here. Let me see if I can focus this. Fun fact, the entire desk and speaker under there are one piece that I solidly attached to the wall so that I can do loads of fun things with it. I guess I'll just sort of get into the details real quick, but this whole thing is held together with magnets, which I know, quite shocking when you think about it, but that allows me to do this. And now, I've got a different angle of the entire place. Ta-da! So essentially, all four walls can come off, and by come off, I mean detach and fold down, and I can get a lot of really cool angles with my camera for the backgrounds. So they're not all going to be stagnant, singular angles of this office, and I'm quite happy with the fact that I'm actually able to remove the walls and do things along this line. So it works with all four walls. So if we flip it around here, you can see that that wall comes off, and I can get an angle from this side and from this side. And yeah, there's both doors have the switches on the side. The windows don't technically have anything in there, but I'll be adding either the hallway in the background behind there, because I'll obviously film this in front of a green screen if I need to put anything back there, or if it's just a still image, I can always mask it out and then put something back there. So long story short, I'm quite proud of how this turned out, and a little extra detail is I can remove two walls at a time and kind of do like a corner shot like this, or I can remove all the walls and then just use the tiles as tiles. So I'll be able to take a still photo of this and use it as the background in other shots. Essentially, this amount of tiles that is the floor of the office is the exact same amount of tiles, or a little bit more than, the big square tile that I used to use for floors. So I'll be able to take a photo of this and then use it instead of that old floor for the rest of the areas of the pizzeria. And then one last fun note, this video is already crazy long for a behind the scenes, but the backside of the office, I decided to put a little bit of detail work on there. I built a custom shelf, and I put 4 books on there, and they are each the colors of the animatronics, along with a little stack of paper and a couple paper balls, but these are all attached to the wall and can come off. And yeah, these were quite fun to make. I'm pretty proud of the tiny little books, as you can see, if I can focus it. There we go. As you can see, I feel like adding a little shelf in the background adds a lot more detail to the scene so that I can make everything a tiny bit more realistic. Oh, and I nearly forgot. Both doors can come out. So the way they work is I have to disconnect it from the wall, like so, and then they just sort of slide out. Ta-da! And then it is an empty doorway instead of a closed door. So both doors are essentially identical. They might be a tiny bit different on either side, but I just put an L and an R depending on which side they are. And then there's a slot up in the top of the door. You can't really see it, but it's there. And then I can just sort of put the doors in, like that. So yeah, as you can see, the door is open and there's tiles, so I can match it up on the outside whenever I need to put a hallway in this shot. If you're wondering how the doors will close in the video, essentially I'll composite myself or somebody else about yay height in the room, and they'll hit the button, and then using some VFX, I'll just basically have 2 images of the background. I'll have one with the door open like so, and then we'll keep the camera in the same spot. Might have to do a little editing to make sure everything lines up. Slot it on in there, and then put it back to where it was. And then I'll be able to sort of combine them and make it look like the door comes down from the top to close, and then it'll just be set to this background. Also, I kind of find it cool that I didn't put a roof on there, because then I could have some cool shots where like the camera zooms in and then comes down, and so on. Now, I know this video is already crazy long, but I just wanted to show you guys one last detail I forgot to mention a little bit earlier. If you look real closely at the posters in the background that are glued onto the wall here, once the camera decides to focus, you might be able to recognize a few of them from some of my previous Five Nights at Freddy's videos. They're just a lot smaller than they used to be. Alrighty guys, that's gonna wrap up this behind the scenes video for the music video that I haven't actually filmed yet as of recording this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this really in-depth look at the amount of work I'm putting into this one. I've got quite a few cool ideas that I'm hoping to pull off for this video, and I just really appreciate the support on everything, so stay tuned for this super cool Five Nights at Freddy's music video to Darkest Desires by Daco. And I can't remember the others that are involved in it, but I know there was like other people that also helped with the video, or with the song. But yeah, with that much being said, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and stay tuned for more awesome builds. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye now. Man, I put way too much work into this thing.